today in the studio, folks. I brought in a real live professional poker player and somewhat of an entrepreneur as well. Jeff Gross, what's cracking?
What's up, man? Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Dude, you're playing in the World Series of Poker right now, yay?
Yes, sir.
What are the odds you win that bitch?
So just to clarify, in the World Series, you're probably thinking like the main event because there's a 10K. That's the one you see.
Well, it all leads to that, right?
That's the one you want to win, but there's 98 events. So there's
Doesn't it all lead to that?
That's the one you want to win, yes. Yeah. So there's like 8,000 entrants roughly.
Well, I know, but a lot of people don't know in the World Series of Poker, like you can get in this event where it never will ever lead to that main event big shot winner.
Right.
You have to enter the main event to be at the end table, right? So there's other tournaments within the tournament.
So if you hear like Phil Hellmuth, for example, he's won the most World Series bracelets, 15.
15.
Well, he's been busy. He's been busy.
Yeah.
Daniel Negreanu, as you know, legend. I think he's been here as well. I think he has 7. So he's just give you an idea though. When you say that's not main events, there's side events. They got limit events.
Are these guys your role models?
Friends, role models for sure. Yes.
Who do you like better, Phil or Daniel?
Damn, you come right with the heat. Phil and I are invested together in a lot of things, and I talk to him more, so I'd have to go with Phil. But I love both them. Very great guys.
Phil seems a little bit like snottier. Yeah. Daniel comes across like, hey, everybody's my friend, and Phil seems a little more shrewd and persnickety.
I'll say this: Phil he's nicknamed the Poker Brat. He plays up to that, but he's a massive. He's just got a big heart. He's a teddy bear. Very nice guy.
He's a good dude.
He's really good. Like really, really good guy.
I didn't get the chance to know him. He came in, did a bit of poker stuff. Daniel came a lot.
Nice.
But we had Greg Raymer and Annie Duke and all the. I like to say old school.
Right.
Because poker got big for a second, and then it kind of went away when the Gov said no, none of this online bullshit.
Yes, right now it's coming back. Sports got legal at a federal level, so now kind of poker's piggybacking. Like I'm from Michigan. It's now also legal just last year. Pennsylvania, you got Nevada, New Jersey. So there's like 5 states and there's more coming. So it's coming back and big money's going into it right now.
If somebody's good at poker and wants to grind all day long,
right?
Online only.
Okay.
No live events, no backyard cash games, straight up online poker. Number one, which poker site should they play? Party Poker?
I mean, I'm gonna direct it. Oh, is it covered up on the thing? Yeah, no. Party Poker is definitely, that's where I've been with them for 3 years, and that's a great site to play for sure.
Yeah, but obviously, if they're sponsoring you, you have to say them.
That's not. Well, I wouldn't sign up with them and take that if I didn't believe in them and what they're doing.
What'd they pay you?
It's enough. Keeps the lights on.
As long as you don't get to see the whole cards.
Exactly.
See, because every time I played poker, like on Poker Stars or whatever, I would poker. What was it? Poker Stars.
It was Full Tilt back in the day.
Yeah, Full Tilt.
That was a fun one.
Which one got cracked for cheating? Who's the guy with the hat? The Undertaker looking dude.
You're talking about Jesus, Chris Ferguson. That was Full Tilt. They had a bad deal. They actually weren't cheating, but here's what they did.
Somebody was cheating.
No, they were running in a sense a Ponzi scheme. They didn't have the balances on file. So they were paying their pros and people they were letting them have big credits. And, because the thing about online poker
so they were keeping shitty books?
Basically, but they were making so much money. Like
of course they were.
But people don't cash out really online. You have to understand, it's like 2% or 1.5% actually win. And then there's people that keep money on or break even. There's a rake back in these things.
Yeah, there was months would go by when I wouldn't even log in, but there was probably $1,000 in there. So they're floating all that money.
People, and there's a lot of a friend of mine had over 5 million, and when it closed, he didn't get it. It was 6-7 years frozen. Didn't think he would get it, and then Poker Stars came, bailed him out, paid out the players money. And then they bought and took the site.
Poker
and the software.
Stars, that's who Daniel Negreanu was with.
He just went to GG about a year and a half ago. I was with Poker Stars as well, and I left for Party Poker at the same time.
I'm not fond of Poker Stars because Daniel and I had Poker VT.
Okay.
And we made him a deal where every time he played, because he owned part of the company,
right?
It said Poker VT, and it was a cool logo. We had cool hats.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was starting to grow, and then Poker Stars said, wait a minute, motherfucker, you ain't wearing that.
Right.
And they literally trumped my deal. And Daniel obviously went with the Poker Stars deal rather than my deal with them. So I didn't. We started seeing Poker VT less and less.
Yeah, I remember that. I did not know that was in conjunction with you, and now I get it. I see the beautiful studio and the wow. Okay, Well, sorry about that, but
that's all right.
You've done all right. You got a beautiful setup here, man. I gotta say, I have a podcast myself, and I was thinking I'm doing well. You know, I got a nice little thing, but this is motivating. It is. It's really cool to see.
This ain't from the podcast, though.
Okay, this isn't right here in here.
No, I mean,
this looks
this
like
is
a
for the
podcast
podcast.
studio.
This ain't from the podcast.
Right. I get it.
Right. I was already doing this shit, and I just said, man, I got a lot of experts coming in and out. I should throw in a couple mics and start shooting the shit. And so I did it.
Right.
And then next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire.
I love it. I love it. It's very cool, man. Honestly,
I think people like it because I bring on smart people, all kinds of people in all kinds of businesses. Like, why would I have a poker player on here? Well, dude, you can assign lessons of poker to life, don't you think?
I honestly believe it's the greatest game in the world.
When to hold them.
Yes, exactly. You can apply poker just like golf. Like, you also learn a lot about people. You go golf with someone, you see how they handle wins, losses, your success, your failure. You get to learn a lot. And a poker table is the same way. You see people lose. You see people get lucky. You know, you can tell a lot about a guy that pounds a table, or he probably doesn't have his shit together if he's freaking out when he takes a bad beat. It's all math at the end of the day. 2 outers, 3 outers, ace king to ace queen, 70-30s. Every day is like that. You know,
you got to know your numbers.
You should know your numbers. It helps.
You got to know your numbers. Like, I know people so good, they'll tell you how many outs you have just looking at the table. Like, I'm thinking, how the fuck do you know there's 41 possible outs and you calculate it that quickly?
Yeah.
But they do. Now, those are, in my determination, what I call professional poker players. I don't know if they're actually professional per se, but they're fucking real. Like, in other words, they're doing pot odds, they're doing calculations.
Right.
When I play poker, dude, I ain't doing any calculations. Like, you want me at the table.
Right.
Number one, you might not want me though. Why?
Depends the size of the game.
Well, I'm not traditional. In other words, like, you can't read me because I don't do what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
That's what Daniel Negreanu basically.
There's 2 parts to poker. There's GTO, called Game Theory Optimal, right? There's a best play. So that's what the solvers you're hearing now and computers and whatever. So backgammon in that game got ruined basically because of the software. There's a right play in backgammon at every single moment. You can put your best play. Similar to poker, it's now called RTA, real-time assistance, and that's one of the threats of online poker is because in theory, someone could like plug into another computer, put the situation,
and it'll say fold.
It'll tell you, oh, here's your best bet. Here's a bet size you should do, all that. So that's like one of the threats to the game. And that's why live poker won't go anywhere because you can't do that live and, solve and do stuff. There's software to detect all that, but that is a threat to poker is the RTA.
Sounds like it might be the killer of it.
It's possible.
Because who wants to get on a poker game online when it's not fair? And it's not fair if you got some fucking tricky ass artificial intelligence telling you how to play.
But so yes, and the major sites you mentioned, PokerStars, obviously, Party Poker, GG, these other sites, they do have real time. They're really focusing on security, and they have ways to detect. And it's crazy. You wouldn't believe what they can do. They can tell if it's like not even you based on how you're clicking, the timing, the tempos. Like they really do have good software. They have had some big crackdowns and have busted people. So it's an interesting time for the game.
Folks, if you guys want to follow this dude, it's jeffgrosspoker.com or just on social media at jeffgrosspoker. Dude, you're named Gross. Now, I'm sure you've been fucked with since a little kid.
Gross income, man. No, that's a blessing.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Like fucking a lot of people be like, dude, who want the name Gross? It's always gross this, gross that. Dude, fucking how about gross revenue?
Exactly. It's about
how much have you grossed playing poker?
So I have a very interesting, to sort of not directly answer your question. If you look at my live tournament earnings, because the thing about poker is you can't see cash game results, right? Me and you go play, you come to my home game, of course you're invited. You don't know. You win or lose, no one knows. But online,
only a sucker goes to a pro poker player's cash game.
Not if they have the best game and around, and not if I don't play.
Are your buddies like hanging around frickin' that movie Rounders?
That's a great movie. That's the only really good poker movie. Maybe Molly's Game as well. Those are like the 2 pretty good movies in poker.
I met the Molly girl. What was her name again? Molly what?
Man, I should know, but Bloom.
Yeah, Molly Bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a keynote one time, and she was doing a keynote at the same event.
Okay.
And so I was backstage. She's a cool chick.
Yeah.
Smart, too. Dude, you can make a lot of money playing poker. Have you made millions?
Yeah. So live poker, you can see my results like 3.3 million. But the thing that's tricky about that is
how much did you spend to get it?
Exactly. That's the thing because the buy-in. So yeah, I mean, it's probably like over. Again, this is like 15 years of live poker. So I don't I don't have a spreadsheet on every single buy-in, but yeah, I made 7 figures from tournaments. I've made 7 figures more in cash. Cash games are more consistent. Tournaments, I could play this right now at the World Series for 6 weeks and be a profitable, good player, and I could lose. There's variance. So in cash games, it's a lot more consistent. You know, like I expect to win 8 or 9 out of 10 times playing cash. Tournaments, you're only going to cash like 15% of the time. So you do that math, you know, it's predicated on the top scores, top 3 places. If you min cash a lot, you're not going to do very well in tournaments because you only cash 15%, right? So,
and you got a podcast. What's the podcast called? Jeff Gross Podcast.
It's Jeff Gross Poker. It's called The Flow Show, and it's on all the outlets. And I do a live also on video on YouTube.
You get all the big wigs on your podcast. I seen you got Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
How'd you fucking get Kevin Hart?
I mean, you know, he plays some poker. He's a nice guy.
Is that how you just say, come on my podcast?
Yeah, just it was I had to maybe ask more than once, but like
who else have you had on there?
So I mean, all the big names in poker. If you know, Helmuth, Negreanu, Antonio Esfandiari, Mitch Garber. I've had some artists, actors.
Kevin Hart.
golf.
Who else? Big names.
Big name. I mean, no, that's definitely the biggest name. I've had, I don't know if you're familiar with Mitch Garber, Bill Perkins. I've had Puya, who's a big rapper, golf pro Tom Lewis. I've had, I mean, again, it's primarily poker though. It's probably like 70% poker.
Mike Tyson?
If you know, I would love to have Mike. I haven't had him on. I don't have a connection to Mike.
Mike Tyson on a podcast is the greatest. Do you ever listen to his?
I've not heard him. I know he's a great guy.
Yeah, they're just sitting there smoking weed. It's funny.
That's awesome.
So how'd you get Kevin?
What do you want me to tell you? I mean,
you called him?
Yeah, I've played poker with him before. Maybe known him for 5-6 years. Some really good mutual friends, and yeah, he likes poker. And
do you ever go to Dan Fleischman's events where he brings in the poker?
Yeah, I know Dan very well. Sports cards, big hobby of mine. He's gotten really, really into that. So yeah,
sports cards. Also NFTs. You're big into NFTs now.
That is my passion and focus right now. I know that's like a trigger word. It's sort of like everyone's like, it's this, it's that, it's a scam.
Well, they better pay the fuck attention. It ain't no scam and it ain't going anywhere. The question is how do you leverage the NFT? Because again, NFT is a big word. People think it's a thing. Well, it's not really a thing. To me, it's more like a technology.
Right.
It's a thing for sure, but like me and you could take an episode or a clip of this episode and turn that into an EFT or an NFT of some kind.
Yeah.
Yes. And then if what I don't understand about NFTs is like I know 20-year-old people that can go make one for me. Why? Because they made one for me. Mm-hmm. But they look like little pixelated, stupid ass cartoons, and I don't understand why people value those. What are they going to do with it?
It's interesting. It's a rabbit hole of a conversation. It's very interesting. It's hot. I personally have partnered with a team called 2Crazy. So that is what they're trying to do is bring the esports world and bridge that gap with NFTs and give people a way, you know, similar to Cameo, similar to Twitch. You can pay a $5 a month membership on Twitch or a $25 membership. So what about those people? You know, what about your diehard fans that love Brad Lee that could come here at the office or spend a day with you? They want an experience, right? Like you could list that. You could just put on your website.
So you bundle it with something else other than a digital asset, and now all of a sudden that's the value of it.
So you bundle it. You would put, let's just say you make 1,000 Brad Lee cards, right? Like NFT cards, and now people can buy it. You set it at $500, and then
but why would you make 500? Why wouldn't you just make one? That makes it more valuable, doesn't it?
Okay, but then you box out, you kind of leave out a lot of your fans and the people, because like you're just gonna have one whale that's gonna come and he could get a hold of you. Someone tells you, Brad, I want to spend the day with you for $100K and be a shadow on the wall, go have a beer with you.
That's not a digital asset.
I understand, that's what I'm saying though. But so if you put it as an NFT and there's only one, all the people that really want to engage with you are your diehard fans, or you're just like completely boxing them out. So like I'll give you this is sort of the model for 2Crazy and what I believe will work and why it's exciting. Let's just take a big, you know, Ninja, popular name in Twitch, right? One of the biggest guys. Ninja you make 1,000 NFTs for, okay? And now you make like the Willy Wonka model where everyone gets like a generic one, but then there's like 7 that are sort of randomly lucky. So you only pay $100, you make 1,000 NFTs. People like Ninja. They want to have a digital card of him, something that shows like, oh, I paid for that. But now there's a chance because those extra cards, like you get an experience to fly to Vegas, spend a day with Ninja for 7. One of them is a one-on-one, like they fly you first class, you go spend a weekend. So you make the card, the digital, but then you also put an experience on it and you create an element of luck. Because if you just do one Brad Lee card, again, someone just wants to hang out with you, forget the NFT aspect. You're going to have someone that can get a hold of you and spend a lot of money. But if you have, I don't know how many, you got a lot of followers, a lot of people are interested in your thing. If you made an NFT, you might have 1,000 or 2,000 people pay $500 to like have that official card that you like, that looks like you, that's custom. And now there's an experience where randomly for only 500, 7 or 10 people can come and win a weekend, or you go out, take them out to dinner, right? So now you do that. That's sort of what they're doing. And I think one of the things I was saying is Emerge, which is a major. So League of Legends. Have you heard of that game? Very popular, like one of the biggest.
League of Legends.
Yeah. So there's a mobile version of that where it's only on your phone, Mobile Legends, and the company called the team Emerge. They're big in Asia, because on Twitch you can't be in Asia. Most people can't stream on Twitch. If you're an Asian, like living in China, you don't stream on Twitch. You stream on Facebook. And this particular group, Emerge, they're one of the biggest, and they partner with 2Crazy. That's being announced soon. And some of the bigger names that they're working with, we're kind of doing the launch for this model with them. So it's an exciting time. It's a confusing. It's overwhelming. You're going to see people that say for CryptoPunk, you spent $400,000, you're a fool. But to answer your question, it's sort of like a status symbol. It's sort of like a flex. Like nowadays, now they're verifying on Twitter as well. Like it's really yours. Because I think the biggest question
is really yours?
The JPEG, the image, it's a property. It's an asset. So that's what I'm saying. Like right now, you could just take a picture of the ape or like the biggest CryptoPunk and put it as your profile picture on Twitter if you want it. Right? Someone be like, oh, Brad owns that because he has money and he's whatever. Why wouldn't it be you? So I think that's one of the biggest fundamental arguments is like, what's like, but I could say the same about a Michael Jordan rookie card. I bought a Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but there's only one.
Only one what?
For example, in that case, it's a real, authentic Michael Jordan rookie card.
There's not only
making
one.
them anymore.
There's not only one.
Whether there's a million or not, it's a card. It's a physical card. There's only one. This is it. And it's authentic. It's not a counterfeit.
Okay, but
when you do with an NFT, that's a digital version of that.
There's 316 Michael Jordan 10 cards. They were like $30,000 2 years ago. Now they hit 780K. They're around 400,000 right now. But same thing. I could take a picture of the Michael Jordan card and be like, oh, it's mine, or put it as my profile picture, or like
just to bullshit people.
I'm just saying, like, there's no difference in really what you're saying. Like,
what's the value of that?
The same as what would be the value of putting a JPEG that's not yours as your profile picture.
Who does that?
I mean, a lot of people on Twitter. I see people with them. I'm in a fund of punks. I'm pretty sure I know people that don't have them that put them. So people do that.
If I have the rights to that punk, couldn't I stop them from using that picture anywhere in the world because I actually own it and it's provable?
Well, this is what Twitter is now doing, a verification, and there will be this process coming where there's like verifying what you have or not, and then you could make those claims in theory. So
for those people listening and they want to start studying more on NFTs and all the shit that comes around, where do they go?
That's actually a deep question as well. I would just, again, recommend 2Crazy Live. They do have information on the site, and that's a really informative, good platform to look at. But in terms of like learning about NFTs and how they work,
it's so new. People don't even know what it is, but I can tell you what, the smart people I know,
right?
And I know some smart people, they're saying, dude, NFT is huge. Like it's not going away, and it's going to get massive, and there's going to be millions and millions and millions made with it.
Yeah.
So you better figure out what it is and how to leverage it for your business, for your brand, for your whatever.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people are like, what is it? It's almost like back when the internet came out. I was knocking on doors when the internet came out, trying to sell websites to companies.
Right.
And companies wouldn't want a website. They were like, what is a website?
Yep.
You remember when what if your question would have been, what's a website?
For sure. Yeah.
Well, dude, I was out there knocking on doors trying to tell people, dude, one day everyone's going to have a website. If you don't have a website, no one's going to believe you or you're real. And customers are like, you're fucking nuts. Well, sure enough, 10 years, 20 years, however long it's been, dude, that is the fact. You don't have a website, like you're not even real anymore. That could be what happens with NFTs.
The closest thing exactly. That's a great example. Websites and then crypto. Look at 2017. Look at Bitcoin when it really surged. And then
crypto.
I'm a crypto fan,
dude. I got someone that handed me one time. They owed me $85,000. Crypto was $600 a coin. So however many that is, 100 and some.
That was probably what, October 16.
I don't remember, but I got 100 and some, and it's like $600. Like if I would have known,
if you just tucked that away because you didn't need it, right? There's no difference if you put that in your bank.
I didn't touch it, and I watched it go up to like 14,000. Then it hit like 19,000, and I was all excited. Didn't ever sell one.
Down to 3K.
But when it started going back down, I said, hey, sell those. I think this is going to zero. Like, I didn't understand it. Right. I'm like, get rid of those some bitches. And then I realized you can't sell them all at once. So I had to just get rid of a little bit at a time, and every day it was going down, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Right. I got actually an amazing gambling story on a bet. So a friend of mine who lives in Vegas, he bet at a poker table, prop bets. I don't know if you're familiar with those, and they happen a lot in poker. A friend got laid 75-1 odds that when Bitcoin was at like $3,400, he had until 2022, the end of 2022, that it would hit 50 grand. And to your point, the stock was low, right? Because from 600 or whatever, where it was at around that time in 16 to 20 grand, down to 3K, it doesn't look good. That's not a nice trajectory, right? So at the table, they were just hedging and messing around, and they said, I'll bet you 75-1 on 40 grand. So my friend paid 40 grand on the spot, and he had to, if it hit 50,000 by 2022, he got $3 million. And that cashed in like January of this year or whatever. So pretty sick, 75-1 odds bet, and it came back.
Well, you know how many people are missing the crypto opportunity?
It's a lot, but it's getting awareness now. I think it's starting to get a little more. It's people like my parents, though. This is the thing: when you can ETF, when it's easy to call Wells Fargo or Chase and say, "Hey, I want 10,000 in Bitcoin," and then hold it, because it is uncomfortable and a bit strange, right? There's no security. Like, oh, your crypto's stolen. Oh, you get hacked. I mean, I've heard it all. I've seen it. I know scams. People have even simple Telegram messages to friends like, "Hey, can you do this and shade that?" Fake person, send the thing. It's gone. FBI's on it, whatever. So that I think as it becomes more mainstream, and there are places now that are easier to do this, that are legitimate and like big business. But when you can call Wells and say, hey, take 50 from my brokerage and put it in Bitcoin, it's going to just explode. And that's the problem. My dad, who loves crypto, he saw me get in it around 2016. He doesn't really understand it. He doesn't feel safe. Like, he doesn't know. And also, you could lose it, right?
Do you feel safe?
I have processes in place with, people that I trust and have it, because I don't really want to hold it either.
Yeah, but what if you died and all your past phrases and shit are dead?
Yeah,
with
but
you?
I have a couple ways of not saying I have a lot of crypto or whatever anyway, but I have.
And that's another thing. Everybody I know with a lot of crypto doesn't want to admit they have a lot of crypto.
But it's not even that.
So how safe is it really? Because like, dude, all someone has to do is snatch you, put a gun to your head, and say, "Fucking transfer me your Bitcoin, or I'm going to kill you." Then what? Right.
Well. That is a problem. And do you know the sports book 5 Dimes? Have you ever heard of that? It's one of the major ones. So it's a big sports book out of Costa Rica. The CEO, Phil, I think Phil Creighton is his name. He got kidnapped in Costa Rica, robbed. They like threatened. They sent his wife. It's a public story. And actually, the guy, a very good friend of mine, sees him every day. Was seeing him every day at school. Goes with his daughter, and they called the wife, said send the money, or else whatever. She shipped like $1 million. Didn't hear whatever, and they ended up being they caught the people, but he died. And there is a problem with that's one of the biggest things about ransoms and money laundering and all this stuff. Like, there is some issues with that and security. So you want to make sure you don't hold it, or you have systems in place where you don't have access to it. But that makes sort of ransom and that type of stuff a little more problematic. That's the dark side. It's not the fun stuff to talk about, but there is some risk on that and security wise in crypto. So got to cover the good and the bad, the ugly, though.
Yeah. What about NFTs again, though? Because NFTs, anyone's able to make them, correct?
Yeah, you could create NFTs.
Yeah, anyone. So like, everybody listening right now, pay attention. You can go make these things that are selling for ridiculous amounts of money and all profit, because what did it take you, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it took you to make this card, make this digital, and it doesn't have to be a card. I could literally create a 3D picture of my balls, and that's an NFT.
And
if I make one of one, that is the only digital image of my balls on the planet. And if you own them,
I don't know your demographic,
if
male,
you,
female,
if you own them, you own my digital nutsack.
That'd be a 1-on-1 though, or how would you do that?
Well, if you did too many of them, it'd just be nuts.
Yeah, just be a lot of nuts.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't understand NFTs well enough now.
Right.
It sounds like I should make 1,000 nutsack.
You should have
NFTs.
you should be whatever you're doing NFTs. You should dial it in harder. I'll tell you that.
Like let's say Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, literally
The rock nuts?
took a picture of his nuts, sent them to somebody that knows how to build NFTs, and said, make my nuts an NFT, and I want 1 million copies, and I'm going to sell them for $100 a piece. And there's 1 million people that bought the Rocks nuts. They're called frickin' Rocks.
Rock nut.
No, just Rocks.
Rocks. That's catchy, actually.
And I paid $100. I got my, one out of however many digitally on the blockchain, proved that it's mine, and I wanted to use that for an ad, or you wanted to use it for an ad. I own the rights to those nuts, don't I?
You have these nuts, yeah.
So at the end of the day, people need to start thinking, number one, how do I make them? Number one. Number two, what should I make? Because again, it's the cleverness behind the marketing of it that makes, I think, the value. Because you just right now made this episode an NFT. Well, who gives a fuck?
There'd be people.
Yeah, but who gives a fuck? It's not going to go crazy.
No,
it's not going to be like it's not going to be like one of those Bored Apes.
Here's the problem. It's the secondary markets. I mean, there is people NFTing rugs.
I know, but you heard of Chase Hero.
Yeah, I know, of course.
Okay, so like he's a buddy of mine. I'm talking to him. I don't listen to half the shit he says in detail because like it's just amazing. Like he's made, I don't even know if he wants his business out there, but he's made millions, I would say in the hundreds.
Yeah. Just
with crypto. He told me he made 2.7 million fucking with crypto punks. I'm like, what's a crypto punk? He's like, bro, they're just these little cartoons. And I'm like, see, why is that cartoon the one to buy? And who's deciding that's the one you want? Because there's 1 million cartoons.
They're the Bitcoin. That's the equivalent of Bitcoin. And then you hear the Bored Ape.
I know, but dude, there's 1 million cartoons. Who decided Bored Apes or whatever crypto punk was the NFT everybody should want?
It's the original. It's the OG. It's the one. It's like Bitcoin. Why?
Because they were first.
That's one of the primary reasons. What about why is Ethereum not as big as Bitcoin?
So theoretically, then couldn't somebody that's an expert marketer get rich making NFTs because they understand marketing? Because the only reason that crypto punk is worth so much is because other people will pay for it, and somebody created the fucking demand.
There's
because Brad Lee's crypto nuts were out there and nobody bid on it, right? But yet crypto punk went crazy. Why couldn't have someone just said, hey, no, it's Brad's nuts that you want?
Marketing is important.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now crypto punks will be sitting there going, how come no one likes these? And it's like, well, Brad's nuts are going crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Brad's nuts sold for $31 million and a week later sold for $39 million.
Just do me one favor.
People are making money on my nuts, Jeff.
Listen, before you shop your nuts around, just give me the first crack with the 2Crazy
crack
NFT.
My nuts.
Yeah. If I see you with an NFT collection without us discussing first, I just want that opportunity for 2Crazy to launch.
Dude, if you can think, if 2Crazy, you, whoever can think how I can cash in on the NFT space and learn it, because I'm telling you guys, that's infancy.
Important. That's important to understand. I'll tell you, here's the thing.
Dude, it's infancy right now.
I had a meeting in Miami 2 days ago.
Well, before you say that, let me ask you this. If I knew what was going to happen in Bitcoin and I knew you in 2014, wouldn't you want me to have said, dude, get your fucking self some Bitcoin and understand it?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm telling everybody listening to this, I believe NFT, the non-fungible token space is 2004 Bitcoin. If it even existed.
It's a trillion, multi-trillion. It's not, here's another thing. You realize like NFT is sort of those it's like Bitcoin and crypto was in 2017. I'm in the bank. I hear people in Latin speaking and, I'm in Miami and they're talking to the bankers about NFT. I'm in the cab. I got, game girl, like massage people in the Rio, playing World Series. They're talking about Bitcoin. It was like this big hype. It's the same thing now. People are getting intimidated. They're getting scared. They're also getting effed, right? People are buying shitty NFT projects that have no secondary value, that aren't going to work. A lot of it won't work. 98% won't work.
See, how do you know this?
It's just how it is. There's
a lot.
But
how do you know this?
How do I know it won't? A lot won't work, or what? How do I know what?
This ain't a trick question, dude. This like in other words, you understand NFTs to a point where you're like, oh, well, that ain't going to work because of this. Well,
right.
That means you know NFTs. How did you get to know that this won't work? Like you have knowledge that most people don't have.
Yeah, because I've been.
I don't know which ones are going to work or not. How the fuck do you know?
Well, similar to crypto, like
You didn't know any crypto was not going to work.
I knew it was going to work.
Look at Dogecoin.
Yeah, but that's
did it work?
That's just saying. If me and you created,
I know, but that one was a joke. Yes or no? It was
a meme.
Created
it's a meme.
as a fucking joke, and it made a lot of people a lot of money.
Right.
See what I mean? Like, dude, I want to give the listeners the ability to be, number one, alert and aware that, hey, there's a new fucking game in town.
Yeah.
Number two, how do they go play that game? How do they start learning about that game and get more knowledge on the game?
It's similar to poker. You don't want to risk anything you can't afford. I think Gary Vee, obviously people are, I'm sure.
I'm talking about homework, bro. Like like 2crazylive.com.
Yeah, that is a place.
2 or TOO?
It's the number 2, crazylive.com or 2crazynft.com.
So if I went there, I can start learning about what's happening.
They have videos, they have information. I mean, listen, if you Google and type in YouTube, what are NFTs, look at articles, New York Times.
What if you typed in, how do I make money on NFTs? Because like right now, if you said, Brad, you know what you should do? If I were you, well, that's because you possess the NFT knowledge. I don't. So I wake up every day, I ain't doing shit with NFTs. Why? I don't fucking
It's a rabbit hole.
And then,
it's like learning poker. It's like you got to put time into it if you want to do it.
You know what else other people do? They think, who the fuck's going to want a picture of my nuts? And like you said, there's people.
Yeah.
So imagine if you're a business or an entrepreneur or a brand, or you know of a brand, or you're connected to a personality, you're your best friend so-and-so.
Yeah.
And you understand NFT to a point where you go grab the motherfucker for lunch and you say, hey, you want to do this, 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 and I get a little piece from my niece, a little sliver to deliver, and and the dude says, that's all I got to do, and all of a sudden you're fucking rich because you were best friends with fucking, you know.
Here's the thing about NFTs. People also, there's a certain star power and name spot where you get a little nervous too. Like, let's take yourself, we talk, let's just say, for example, after this podcast, you know, we become best friends, which I think we're on the path to getting to know each other better and have a couple beers, but we talk and you say, you know what, I'll take a chance on 2Crazy. For you, it's like, it's the same thing. It took me 2 months to make a deal with these guys because there's a lot of bullshit kind of pump and dump, scam, make money. You know, in crypto world, they raised 3-4 million overnight. People are throwing money, don't even know what they're doing. They just put 50K, 100K here. It's sort of like that. The thing is though,
I just put 50 on a new app. I don't know nothing about,
you
but
might
it's
have
like
never
Clubhouse. It's the Clubhouse killer.
If you
It's
believe
called Breakout, by the way.
Shout out to Breakout.
Everybody go get Breakout audio. Well, it's you on Clubhouse?
Yeah, I have it, yeah.
It's like Clubhouse, but there's
Twitter's doing that too. Spaces, sort of like similar.
I've heard them all, but that's the problem is like, you know, I don't know if this app's going to win, but I do know this.
Yeah.
It's just a better app. It has cooler features for the moderators. You know,
yeah.
There's not millions of people on it yet.
Right.
So that's the problem is there not a bunch of conversations happening yet, but they're just launching. But when they do, I'm telling you, it's way smarter fucking app than Clubhouse.
Look at Uber, Lyft. There's room, right? There's other things like there is room, and that's what I'm saying with 2Crazy. It took me a while to dive in with them because I have a lot of friends in the space, a lot of information. There's hundreds of platforms. DraftKings.io. You see Brady did one. Leo Messi just launched one on. Go ahead.
There's a new one coming out.
There's 1,000.
Yeah, but there's a new big player coming out. It's called
something nuts. Got to be.
No. It's called, what the fuck is its name?
Can't be that.
Caesars is behind it. It's basically another DraftKings, but they're doing it almost MLM style.
Multi-level marketing. It can work. It's hard, but when it works, it works.
MLM betting site, which is crazy because again, like, anyway, but back to NFTs. This is why I want people to understand, like, dude, you can go start doing some research so you get up to speed like this dude. Next thing you know, you're aware of shit that other people wouldn't be aware of, like me, but you're aware of me, and you say, dude, if I were Bradley, or not me, but like, you know, if I were Dwayne Johnson, all I'd do is take a picture of my nuts and I'd make $100 million. That's the key.
Here's my exact point though. Here's your risk, just like with me, because you only get so many chances and you want to do things right. Like someone says, hey, we want to be a partner, similar like party poker. I got to believe in it. Got to know the team. There's options, right? Same with this 2Crazy. I said, look, like I want to understand what you're doing. I want to see your graphics design. I want to know your team, see your development because, all right, we make an NFT for you. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to try it. But guess what? If your NFT goes out and there's no resale value, it doesn't look good, it's not right, you don't get to just go do another NFT like a week later. So like you kind of get,
why not?
You could, but you only get so many chances because like people that like lost money if they invest in your NFT and like they pay $100 a card. And listen, but hear me out.
But that's an assumption. You can make as many as you want.
I understand, but I'm just saying if you drop with 2Crazy, you launch Bradley's 2Crazy NFT, it somehow doesn't do well, which I think it would probably do very well. I would just have to, if it
would
done
I
correctly.
Be promoting it?
I hope so.
And what would I say?
You could come on my podcast.
I've got my own NFT.
Yeah, it would be, but it would be fun experiences, right? It wouldn't just be like buy a card and like that's it. There would be come to sweat. 10 people get to go out with golf with me.
Yeah, but see, isn't that what people buying the cards? Just the digital novelty.
Yeah, but look at the sports cards. I'm obsessed. I got into it when I was a kid. It went to trash basically, right? Like it was.
I know, but hold on, and I only want to interrupt because I want to make sure people are clear.
Yeah.
If you're buying my NFT, which is a digital image of me, plus you get to come out and golf, plus you get to smoke
plus you get
cigars,
a physical copy, maybe
whatever. Yeah, you get the physical one. Let's say you paid $100,000 for that. How can you ever make money with that NFT? Because when you go to sell it to someone else, let's say, it doesn't always include fucking golf with me. It doesn't like you can't resell that NFT and say, now he'll go to golf with you now.
Here's an example.
You see what I'm saying though?
Here's an example. Andy Roddick, he did an NFT with Metakoven, the guy who did the deal he bought from Beeple. Remember the $69 million sale? This is sort of like, so there was a $69 million NFT sold this year.
What was it? What would they get for that?
They got a digital piece of art, his 500 pieces all in one.
Got it.
This guy Metakoven, actually one of my very good friends, was one of the marketers behind it, and their team built it and figured out how to get the most for it. They never thought it would go for $69 million, but they had a strategy and how they did it. So now this guy Metakoven, he created a similar to DraftKings, a platform.
Well, what else did they get for $69 million first?
That was just a piece of art.
That's all they got.
Digital piece of
art.
Now
that makes sense. Why? Because I'm the only one that owns it, and now maybe someone will want to give me $120 million,
right.
and I own it. I can give it to them because I paid $69 million. But when you attach the live experience, that's where it confuses me because if I bought it for the live experience, you can't resell that because that's my personal time.
So I'll just give you a real life example. So. Andy Roddick. I'm sorry. No. Andy Murray. Are you familiar with him? Tennis star. He's one of the best. He's one of the top guys. He had on Metakoven's platform, he created his own NFT platform. It went for $177,000. It was a physical card, really nice, right? Like we'll get for $177,000, like a trophy looking beautiful card. You got a 30-minute tennis lesson with Andy Murray. You got 2 Wimbledon VIP tickets to go. So there's value there. Trip, all expense paid, whatever. And then there was also an NFT like of his winning Wimbledon moment or whatever. So there's like something now. So to your point, like, so if he were to resell that,
he can't.
He could sell the NFT or the card. He has 2 pieces of things. So now, again, your point about, so somebody sells it to wouldn't get the Andy Murray experience. But
if you called me and said, dude, you can buy this card I got during that experience, I'm like, fuck, I want the experience. Well, I can't.
So maybe there's another one that will come up or it's different. But here's my point.
But I wouldn't be buying it from you. I'd be buying it from Andy again.
Okay. But the person who paid for that $177K, it was, I believe, I think it was $177,000. Again, it's sort of a flex. They did it. They paid the money. They got to meet Andy. Now they have a physical card and they have an NFT. They're probably never going to sell it. I'm not selling my Michael Jordan 9 rookie I bought 3 years ago. I'm not selling it. If I have to, if I go, balls to the wall and shit's in a bad spot, maybe. But
I'd never sell it. You know what I'd do?
What?
Get a loan against it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because what if it triples in value? Your loan doesn't triple.
Exactly. But that's the thing you don't know. Like the CryptoPunks, they gave them away June 2017, 10,000 JPEGs made. 9,000 given away. The site, the owners kept 1,000. They gave 9,000 for free. There's an account with like 142 CryptoPunks because it's all digital ledgers. You can see has never been touched. So there's someone owns like $15 million or $20 million. It is in an account. They probably just made it and just don't know or forgot it or lost their key.
Could it be me?
I mean, we'll never know, but it's the point is like you don't know like what's going to happen or how it's going to go or the resale value. But there is this was free, 9,000 given away, and now they're 400
NFTs, bro.
You make money in getting into projects early, getting into something. The next CryptoPunks, the next VFriends, the next 2Crazy NFT, you get in early and you can flip. In a way, you're flipping. Like I like with sports cards to buy several of the same one, and then ideally I may get rid of 1 or 2 along the way because I love collections and I don't like getting rid of it. So I generally now try to buy 2 to 3, and then I'll always try to hold one and then try to make a little money on some that I speculate that will make money. In the sports card industry, look at it. I don't know how close you follow it, but it peaked, and then it's come down a bunch, but similar to crypto, there's rises, there's falls, and ultimately you have to bet in the long term. I close my eyes on a lot of stuff, crypto, sports cards, tuck it away, believe in the long term, and move forward.
Are you addicted to betting?
No.
And speculation?
No, I love action. I love action.
Do you like prop bets?
I've done a lot of prop bets. I've got some crazy prop bets.
If I bet you 10-1 that I could tell you within 3 days of the day you were born, would you take that bet?
No, you're a serious guy. I'm sure you probably know the time I was born. I bet you got the full sheet. So no, I wouldn't bet you.
All right. So where do you make most of your money, playing poker, or do you got, like, you keep drinking that fuel shit that's called Breinfuel, but it's spelled weird?
I thought I was gonna have to hit my head with it. Yeah, that's Breinfuel. That's an investment I'm on as well. So that's actually
the only way I could tell is because the way you kept turning it so it can be seen.
I tried to do it without looking, but I couldn't. The camera, like, I tried to naturally do it, but
it's Breinfuel spelled with E, so it's actually Breinfuel.
That's one way you could pronounce it.
Is it German? Breinfuel.
Could be a little bit. I don't know the descent.
Well, what is it?
So
like energy?
It's a supplement for coffee. I love caffeine. I love coffee, the taste of it, but this is a little bit healthier version, and it gives you. I'm not going to go in all the
replacement or supplement.
I don't drink this as well as coffee because it's very intense. Like it's a jolt. Like I took Adderall one summer for like 2 weeks during the World Series. Felt like I was in the movie Limitless. It was pretty crazy. It definitely helped, but it was like my teeth were chattering and I couldn't sleep well, so I stopped it right away. This is the most similar thing I felt. And the first time I had one, when they sent it to me, I was a little upset because I drank the whole thing and kind of at like maybe in the afternoon, and I did have a little trouble sleeping, so I like to sip on this during the day. Phil Hellmuth, actually, one of the main ambassadors, he loves it, uses it all the time. It's in CVS. It's in mainstream places.
So if you guys all want a good buzz, apparently Jeff says Breinfuel.
I didn't say it. He said, you brought it up. I wasn't going to mention it, but since it was here and
B-R-E-I-N, brain, B-R-E-I-N. Why B-R-E-I-N?
I think just a fun way to spell brain, different way, little kicker to it, but I didn't come up with the marketing or the promotion, but it does taste good. I like the bottling. And
what's wrong with the original way to spell brain?
I don't know. I don't know if there's some. I guess it wouldn't be patent. Anyone could use the word brain. I think. It was
so you don't own that company. You're just invested in it.
I'm an investor in the company.
And then Party Poker sponsors. You're a walk-in advertisement today.
I got a couple. I think I dumbed it down. If you go to my website, I got like 18 things on there that I'm either invested or part of. So
how do you pick, man? You just get to know them and decide. I like these guys. Like 2Crazy. Is that a competitor? In this, so to speak, with CryptoPunk. Like you either buy a CryptoPunk or you buy a 2Crazy.
No. Completely different because it's focusing on esports. There will be poker component and other people. Anyone could we'll have a Brad Lee 2Crazy NFT for sure, as long as if you
does that cost me to produce one?
No, it's only just
me
straight cash. Straight cash, yeah. It'd be if we can both agree.
Let's agree on something here, right now. Let's launch it. Like by the time this episode, you can go get the Brad Lee NFT. It rhymes.
It's high quality. It's not going to be that fast.
Dude, if it's mine, it'll be high quality. That's a fucking
that's what I'm saying. We'll get the official. I want the first crack. I just want the right of first refusal. Other than that, you got to do what you got to do. Here's my point. We got a lot to talk about, so we got sidetracked. The point is, what's the risk about you doing NFT? There's not really a risk, but people at a certain level and profile, they see what's going on. You see rappers, you see everyone launching. Some of them just totally die because guess what? They got 23-year-old kids pitching them or their friends like, yo, I learned how to make an NFT. They have no plan, no program. A friend of mine at Triller, you familiar with Triller? Yeah. So VP there tells me a story. They did a deal with the kid. They like got a friend of someone. They like said, all right, let's launch it. The kid, they made $9 million. This kid, by Triller promoting it, doing it. And there was no plan. The guy made the money. There was no like resale, whatever. And the guy just picked up $9 million, and then like the product was gone. There was no like post plan. It was like kind of a scam. But like the guy literally made $9 million, like a 24-year-old kid that promoted it with Triller, and then like everyone got left in like what the hell. So there's a lot of money in it, and you just gotta be careful. But my point about names. So I'll give you an example. Michael Phelps. I'm sure you're familiar with
Michael Phelps. He was on your podcast.
So. He has not been yet. He's actually, that's one of my best friends. I live with him for 7 years and roommates from 2008 till 15. But like someone like him, huge name.
He ain't gonna like me very well.
Why is that?
Because someone asked the other day about a hero in sports, and someone said Michael Phelps, right? And I used to swim when I was little, just for a minute. But I said, why Michael Phelps? Oh, he won so many Olympic medals. I go, I know, but he just won them for swimming fast. Like, who cares? He swims fast. Why would he be famous for swimming fast?
Listen, all right. I can go on a tangent here and let you know why. I mean, guys, you know how many gold medals he has though? Do you know?
23.
All right, you're on your stuff. So 23 gold medals. Do you know who has the
For
second?
swimming fast.
Do you know who has the second most?
Probably.
Or how many? How many?
9.
Okay. All right. You know Olympics, so I'm not gonna stump you. But yes, so that's pretty impressive. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of years of history.
But it's just for swimming fast.
Okay, but what's the difference if it was a track would have been better? What would
again to me? Again, I do not mean anybody disrespect, especially Michael Phelps, because he seems like a badass.
He is.
Dude,
He's a legend, man. He's great.
Like I would give more respect and honor to someone that did 5 tours in the fucking Afghan war or something. Why? Because that's hard shit, dude.
Yeah.
This dude swims fast. Now, I am not taking into the years of practice because remember, I used to be in a swim team for about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of time and practice. But to say, wow, this guy should have millions of dollars of endorsements because he swims fast, but yet there's no respect or popularity for someone who goes and fucking does some serious shit. To me, I always just feel dumb. I just feel dumb, idolizing people that play a game. Like, for example, oh my God, it's Tom Brady. Cool, Tom Brady. But dude, Tom Brady throws a football all day really well. Why is that so freaking important? I mean, the whole society calls that dude a freaking zillionaire. Because, dude, if the society says that you're popular, you're a millionaire, multimillionaire. Like Michael Phelps is making millions because he's Michael Phelps, because he won those medals, because society said if you win these medals, you are worthy.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing at all.
Poker bracelets.
But you're saying
same thing.
Yeah, Phil Hellmuth is 15. Great.
But there's a purse he also won.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you've won a lot of money. You don't have a bracelet.
Right. Second.
I know
second.
you hate that, but
it hurts. But
hey, you'll get one. But at the end of the day, you don't have one, and you're still making money. So it ain't about the bracelet.
Well, this is interesting.
If Michael Phelps didn't have 23 gold medals, would anyone give a fuck who he is?
I mean, if he had 22 or 1 or 0?
0.
I mean, there's swimmers that have done.
Dude, there ain't nobody making millions in swim meets
there's not
across
a lot.
the country.
Yeah, but hold on. But so you're apples to oranges. You're saying like your heroes should be, war heroes, which I'm not disagreeing. But at the same time, like
just war.
I know, but I'm saying like the point is like it's apples to oranges. Like Tom Brady and Mike, they're the best at what they do in their respective sports, and there's a lot of fans around that. Yeah, if there was marketing and media, and if Soldier and people had agents and they had film, if they're wearing cams and like it might be different.
There's where I was driving. What'd you just say?
If they wore cams?
No, it's marketing.
Marketing. That's
Michael Phelps gets paid millions of dollars because he can sell millions of products.
Yeah. So, but apples to oranges.
The Iraqi war vet can't. Why?
He should. Maybe they could have NFTs. That would actually be a great idea.
But
that would be a big program for real.
Where I was driving is that because let's say me and you do this NFT thing.
We're doing it.
And it flops. It flops because no one knew about it. It flops because we didn't get the whole world to understand, hey, there's limited amounts of these things.
Yeah, but it's there's a lot of what ifs, right? There's execution, that maybe the team wasn't good, maybe the timing wasn't good. You release like a movie, right? You have a great movie, you release it on the same day as another great movie. Like there's a lot of what ifs in these things.
Is there a whole underworld of NFT people?
Oh yeah, it's
not an underworld, but like a sub lifestyle. Like right now, I don't know what NFTs are launching today. Do you?
I mean, I'm in, there's Discord groups. I have friends that are like, I'm in chat groups where I see stuff, but again, it's nonstop. I mean, I'm telling you, people are releasing rugs. Like I have someone spent 15 grand on an NFT rug. I told you about the rock story before. Shout out to Mike McDonald. The guy's laying 10 to 1 that his rock that he paid like 450 grand for, a picture of a rock, is going to be in the Louvre, and he'll pay you 100 grand cash right now, but you got to pay him $1 million if it ever gets listed. Like that's the kind of shit that's going on. There's rocks. And people are buying carpet pictures now. So like, will that be good? Probably not. But like the rocks might, like, I don't know, man. I don't know which ones will or won't, but there's a lot going on. So
have you ever seen the movie Ready Player One?
No, but I know about it. Yeah.
You need to go see that movie.
I like
basically it's everybody's on these virtual goggles and you're living in a virtual world. So like you could put on your goggles, lay in bed, be this big, fat, nasty, overweight, gross, no one likes you in
sort
real
of like
life.
Westworld, like you're unaware.
No, but you put on these virtual goggles and now you're out in this virtual world interacting with people, and you can be anybody you want, and they of course become anybody they want. So you're in love with this hot chick who you're really talking to. It's a real person, but it's a virtual person. And it shows basically that the whole world doesn't want to live in real life. They want to live in this virtual world because they're better looking. They can, they can do all these.
It's sort of like Westworld. Did you ever see that show on HBO? Yeah, it's like that, right? You go into like a West or whatever. You go and
that was like,
I only saw one episode. I don't know, but
go watch Ready Player One.
Watch
dude.
it.
I think you're gonna like it, especially if you're in this whole world.
Yeah.
Do you play more live poker or online?
It's a mixture, but now probably more online. So I stream on Twitch. That's what I did for
What's your channel name?
Jeff Gross Poker for all socials. Pretty much that's
all the Twitch fans out there can come watch you play poker.
Yeah, you play
online. Do you narrate and teach while you're at it?
Yeah, it's a little everything. Interaction. The one thing that's weird about Twitch and poker is it's on a 5-6 minute delay, whereas like any other category is not. So it's kind of annoying, right? Me and you having a conversation, you ask me, hey, what's your favorite color? Why did you do that? Now you got to wait 5 minutes for me because I talk, it's on delay. Otherwise people could see my cards at the table and you can't do that, right? There's time banks. It takes a couple minutes. So you have to have a delay, but yeah, I engage and interact. I mean, I've had some sick runs, big scores. Actually, how I got into Bitcoin was 2016 December. I won a tournament. I streamed for 25 hours straight online and I took $500 to 141 grand. I took, chopped 3-handed for like a 1,200 person entry tournament. And I was in Brazil, getting married in 2 days, started at like 8 a.m. Brazil time, finished at 9 a.m. And, it was amazing. Like won the 140 grand, but then they pay all in Bitcoin on this particular site. And that's how I got shipped Bitcoin. I wish I could say I kept all that money. It was 800 a coin. I did keep a decent chunk and moved stuff around and gotten some other side projects. But yeah, that was how I basically had my, big, kind of crypto introduction in 2016.
Well, we did a virtual training deal for World Series of Poker before, and I had the table in here with all the cameras that Phil and everybody was at.
Yeah.
Somebody came in, it was in my way because we weren't filming anymore. And so I was going to take it home. So I have a cool table, but I forgot to get everyone to sign it. So it was just a table with WSOB branding.
Right.
Somebody said, hey, can I buy that? I said, sure. 3 Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah.
What year was this?
This was back when it was $600. So they gave me 3 Bitcoin for that table, which was basically a couple $1,000. I wanted it moved, and those 3 Bitcoin today are worth 150 grand.
Right. Yeah.
That's why if you guys, if anybody listening, in my opinion, owns Bitcoin, don't sell it ever. Borrow against it. Because I would have borrowed, let's say I had 3 Bitcoin and it went up to 10 grand. So it's 30 grand worth of Bitcoin. If I'd have borrowed 25 grand rather than selling them, I'd have borrowed 25 grand against it and all of a sudden they went to 60. I still own the Bitcoin. That equity's mine. And now I still only owe what I borrowed plus a little interest. And from what I hear, you can get like stupid low
crazy
interest.
Return. You can leverage your Bitcoin and make pretty good interest on
So why would anybody sell Bitcoin?
Have you heard of Kelly Criterion?
No.
So it's a sort of like martingale. Have you heard of that? So martingale is like basically if you go to roulette wheel, I'm sure you've seen people do it. You basically just keep doubling. Like you bet 100, lose 200, trying to get even.
Oh yeah.
It's like a martingale. This term is Kelly Criterion. It's basically talking about bet sizing. So if you have let's say $100 or whatever, let's say you have 100 grand to play with just for a bigger number and more fun, you should have. The Kelly Criterion talks about appropriate bet sizes. So if you're, I'm 35 years old, I'm married, I got a 2.5-year-old, my Kelly Criterion for what I'm doing in my life at this moment with my 100 grand is going to be different. Like on Bitcoin, I might today take the probably appropriate bet size is like 7 to 10%. I might be 30 or 40%, but like when I'm 23 and if I somehow, have whatever my pile is, say it's 10 grand, I'm much more betting more is fine because like I don't have a child, I don't have a wife, I got a lot of upside in years, so I would want to make a bigger bet on something a little more high risk. So it's really interesting, the principle. It's a complex formula, but the idea is simple, and it's called Kelly Criterion, and a guy really breaks down like bet sizing appropriate to risk and what you're doing in your life and when you should bet a lot or not. And so anyway, it's different points for everyone. Same with poker. If I told you, I think you're around like whatever, say I think you're probably,
how old do you think I am?
I think I know, but I would guess you're around 45, but I think you might be 52.
I think 52.
I think I saw that. See, I do my homework too. I saw it somewhere, but so you're
not 50 also, but 52.
50. Yeah, 50. That's what I said. I'm not, yeah, you know where I'm at. So the point is like your bets and your stuff is just different risk. You're like, so if I recommend to you, go get into poker. If you said to me, I love poker, I want to be a pro, I want to learn, what I would recommend to you would be much different to a 20-year-old or 18-year-old watching my Twitch stream and how they would go about it for a lot of reasons. Because also for me, I started with $50. Like a lot of people my age who came in poker around the Moneymaker time, like 2003, Rounders comes out, I watch it, I see Chris Moneymaker wins the main event. It's super exciting, but I had no money. I mean, I'm like 15 or 14 years old. So like I'm getting scrapping $50 together. I'm depositing online, playing at a local friends, right? So like for me, I can't really lose much. Like I might lose my 50 10 times or 20 times. But now if you take your real net worth and you go and sit down at the Aria and you risk 10 grand at a time or something silly, like you could actually lose like a lot of money quickly, So it's like, it's different. The type of risk and willingness you want to take is different at different ages. So people ask me all the time about like, what should I do? How do I get into poker? And it's like, it really is like a custom, it's different for everyone and also it's gotten a lot tougher now. The game has changed. There's more information, more solvers. It's tougher. There's also the US pulled out Black Friday, right? 2011, as you mentioned, the UIEGA. So things changed. Like Americans now, if you look at the World Series of Poker 10K main event, the numbers of like 21-year-olds, it's much less. Back when I was in college and I started playing just out in college, like just tons of people, college, everyone's on campus, everyone's coming to Vegas. Now there's not as many Americans playing because for the last 10 years, it hasn't been legal in the US. So there's a few gray areas, black market sites that people play, but it's much different now and it's harder because like the players that do play are better, foreign, German, Austrian, from the UK. And the game has definitely changed a lot in the last 10, 15 years.
Would you say poker is much like blackjack where like in blackjack 21, there's a card you could get that like, that's what you should do no matter what every time. Is there any shit like that for poker?
Yeah, there's set hands or situations where there's really like there's just a clear best play. Whether
how do you get the intuition and the fucking feeling? Sometimes I think you're full of shit, and I bet it, and I'm right. Right? You see what I'm saying? And that's to me the freaking charge of poker.
Here's again. I'll say we mentioned earlier GTO. There's two things in poker: GTO, which is what you can learn and teach and buy these coaching programs, and the book will tell you the best play. All right, you have Ace King, you have 14 big blinds. You're in the cutoff, right? The position of the table, how many chips you have. You should do this. There's literally, you can just plug it in. There is an answer. But if me and you are playing and I know you are folding way too much, well, I'll say you're too aggressive. You'd probably be more aggressive than tight. So like, if I'm like, wow, this guy's a maniac, like normally I would do this, but now I'm going to exploit you because I know your tendencies and I have this situation. So the book says shove, but I'm going to min raise because I want you to re-raise me or I want you to come in. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the beauty of poker. When you look at, like, I'm a very good poker player. I've done it 15 years. I know how to win. I know how to play. I'm going to be a favorite in any World Series event. But like the top 0.01%, the guys that are like crushing 100K buy-in tournaments, 50K, they're wizards. They've done every solver. They know the flops, King 8-4, three different suits, right? They call it a rainbow flop, King 8-4, spade, heart, club. They know the best play. They know to check raise with Queen 10 or Ace 10, or just call like, they have studied, they've run solvers and they're like wizards. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like the top guys have done a lot of extra work. Like I've shifted my career in the last 5 years. I went from playing a lot more to doing the content, Twitch, YouTube, podcasts.
What's your YouTube channel?
Jeff Gross Poker as well. So I do a mixture of highlights from Twitch, like taking the best hands and the highlights made. I also do a live vlog. If you saw Dame, I think you met, he was there before. So he's filming with the company Playmaker. They own sports. That's their handle on Instagram, plus Playmaker. So we're doing a documentary with myself and Phil Hellmuth, where they're basically filming all access to the World Series. So the highs, the lows, the before, the after, talking about hands, but more showing the experience. So we're doing a, again, content, and it does suffer my play a bit. Like yesterday, I started at 5 o'clock. The tournament started at 11. We're getting all stuff situated. I got new equipment. We're setting things up. But I've shifted my results as my main thing to the content. Whether I win or lose this World Series won't really have any impact on me. Of course, it'd be great to win $1 million or $2 million or win the main event for $8 million. But like, I've basically said, look, I want to do the content. I think it's more value. I think it's more fun. It also has shifted. I'll give you an example with the ambassadors. So I'm an ambassador for Party Poker. I remember 5 years ago, I think this guy, so Kevin Martin, he was on Big Brother. He won Big Brother, streams a lot, great guy, a lot of fun. Poker Stars signed him and people are outraged. They were like, wow, how can you sign this guy? He plays $20 tournaments online. Like you got guys like Jason Mercier and, you know, guys playing 100K buy-ins and stuff. But guess what? The whole site's shifted everything. They now don't sign, like, they don't care if you win $1 million or you win a World Series bracelet. They're looking for the guys that are doing content, being active, and it's totally shifted.
Why do you think
went
that
like
is?
This? I mean, that's where the world's going. It's going to content. It's going to short, you know, videos, interaction.
I think it's because they're trying to get players.
Yeah.
And me watching you talk about poker, now I'm learning poker, I'm more likely to play than if I just heard that you won a big bracelet.
Let me give you another example. So 2017, I started my vlog. So my friend Jamie Staples, who works, he's co-manager of Party Poker Team Online with me. He's a very good friend of mine. I was streaming on Twitch. He had a YouTube channel. He was like, bro, you got to have a YouTube channel. I was like, I don't know, man. It sounds like, it's like, fuck, I don't want to do all this and start it and do all this stuff. But I looked at it and I was with him in the Bahamas at a tournament. Someone came up to him, was like, yo, Jamie, what's up, man? I love your stuff. And he's like, oh, what's your name on Twitch? The guy was like, what's Twitch? He's like, I watch your YouTube. And I saw this happen again and again. And I was like, man, it's crazy. Like, it's just, you got to have balance and you got to be in there. You don't know what people are going to watch. Some people, you've never heard of Twitch maybe, or someone doesn't know YouTube or whatever.
How do you monetize Twitch?
So yeah, good question as well. Twitch is, you get subscribers. So that's one way.
How? They're just telling everybody you're
just
on
by
it?
playing, putting in time and consistency.
Playing
people.
What? Any game you want?
Yeah, anything. You could start a Twitch tomorrow, open a channel.
I can't start a Twitch of me sitting at my desk taking
phone
calls.
There is, yeah, you could do IRL Twitch. Like there's guys, I think I know Aoki. He's in everything. He's in crypto and NFTs and sports cards. He's a G. I don't know if have you met him or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah. So for example, like there's DJs, I think Deadmau5 has one, or T-Pain. He's a beast too. He's got his whole studio like this, and he's literally in there recording, doing his stuff, and he's got.
Could I
sure.
Twitch this show?
Sure. You could, if you could do that. You could Twitch your.
Are you discovered, or do you have to market once again?
Like you're the type of person similar to Negreanu and Helmuth who don't stream a lot, but they have a Twitch channel. They have a big enough name where they go live or they send a tweet out or people start finding it. You know, because Twitch is about community and hosting. So people raid you, host you, and it just builds quickly. Like you have a following, so you would build very quickly, like instantly. But average guy just starts a Twitch channel out of his mom's basement, it's going to take him a long time to get people to recognize. When I started, I remember when I've had 20,000 concurrent viewers. That's my biggest ever at one time watching. But there was like time where, I'd have 5-6 people for a while and I didn't know what I was doing. I fire up a thing. I go live on Twitch and I'm in Brazil, shitty internet. I got my little laptop, HD camera bullshit. I'm on there. I'm just talking and I have 6 people watching for hours and that was it. And that's how I started in 2015.
So if someone wants to find you on Twitch, do you have a name?
Jeff Gross Poker.
But you pick a name. So like I could say, this is my Twitch bitch, and that's my Twitch account.
You could come in, you type, it'll say that, and I'll say, what's up, Twitch bitch? Good to see you, man. How are you? Thank you for the follow.
Not Twitch bitch. This is my Twitch bitch.
Right. Anything you want. You could do. You can be whoever you want.
Are there any funny handles?
A lot. I mean, too many, just in anything you can think of. Creative, vulgar, fun.
But you just want to keep it simple. Jeff Gross Poker. Everything's Jeff Gross Poker.
Pretty much. Jeff Gross Podcast or Jeff Gross Poker. Yeah.
That way they can find you easier.
It's more, it's easier.
And dude, you went to University of Michigan?
From Ann Arbor, born and raised. I actually met Phelps because he was going to Michigan at a poker table in Canada when I was 16. But I didn't go to school there. I went to University of South Carolina, played soccer there.
Tell us some shit about Phelps that he'd be pissed that you told us.
Man, I mean, I've been everywhere in the world with him, had the craziest time, stories. I don't know what unfortunately at University of South Carolina, that was where that bong incident happened when he was visiting me in 2008. But obviously now people know weed, not a big deal, and he got the raw deal on that. But no, I don't. I mean,
you're to blame for the bong?
No, I don't even smoke weed.
So give us some shit like, dude, why'd you say that, you fool? Why'd you say that on that podcast? Like what, like some sleepover, some fucking hotel room in the middle of, Belgium one night, whatever, something good, something juicy. You got anything?
I mean, Liz, I lived with him 7 years. I got a lot of fun stories, but nothing that,
was he nailed down that whole time or ever single?
He was single. He's more of a relationship guy. He definitely is, he's married now. He's got 3 kids and he was almost always in a relationship, but there was a couple years.
Can you imagine getting that kind of freaking recognition and being single?
Let me just tell you, in 2008 at the Olympics in Beijing, He was the most famous guy in the world. He won 8 gold medals, 8 for 8, never been done. We were there ripping shots with Kobe, LeBron, like the night of the 8. It was the craziest thing. We flew to London, then to the Maldives. Like, it was a world tour. I was my last semester. This is actually a great story. Not like a, something I wouldn't be able to say, but this is a true story. So 2008, it's August. He wins the 8 gold medals. I had my last semester of school. I did 4.5 because I played soccer, but I wasn't taking full courses, and I had to go back to college for the winter of this. So all of a sudden, school starts like August 15th, 18th or something. He finishes the Olympics. We're rolling around going everywhere. He's doing Saturday Night Live. We're in London for the opening of this. We're going all over the world.
Just saying, come on, dude.
Yeah, we're going. We're flying everywhere. It was it. So I'm emailing my professors like, hey, going to be late like a week or so, like whatever. It ended up being 3 weeks late, and to the course, the first course I came back, I had a test being given the day I got back. And whatever. Professor let me not take it and then just waited or whatever. But Mike actually flew to South Carolina, and he gave 2 of my classes. He came in and gave speeches, and no one knew. Like, he literally walked in the room. This is right after the Olympics. Everyone's going, and he comes in and goes nuts. And he in front of like one of those big classes, not like a 20 person, like 120 sports and entertainment class. And he's just there talking and whatever. But I don't know if I would have passed or not. But like that helped me in those, like for him to come in and give a speech and kind of hang out. So it was the craziest thing. It was waves of people.
Now I'm a Phelps fan.
Dude, we would roll around downtown in South Carolina, and it would be like a hurt, like literally like every bar. It was just like, he was the most famous guy in the world. And he was sleeping on my couch.
Like, nobody hasn't heard of Michael Phelps, I don't think.
So the reason actually I mentioned him earlier was about NFTs. So he's very aware. I told him about crypto, told him about NFTs. I'm like telling him, you got to do this. And his agent, Peter Carlisle, a great guy, known forever. But it's sort of, he's one of those guys where he's worried because like he's going to make $1 million for sure. You drop a Michael Phelps NFT, $1 million, $2 million, $5 million he's going to make. But is it going to be done well? Is it going to hold value? Are people going to be tilted?
Haven't you sold him on 2Crazy?
He's aware of it. But it's
you want me to close him for you?
Let's close you first, and then we can work on
I'm closed.
You're in? You're official on 2Crazy?
What's the worst that can happen? It flops?
It's not. I don't think it'll flop, but yeah. No, I just said, like, give me right of first refusal.
I am not afraid of flopping.
We're going to do well.
I flop every morning when I freaking hit the head.
I'm with you. We're good. We're
going
to
do
some fun stuff.
In my mind is like, oh, you guys didn't do it right. I'd be like, fuck. And then I'll do another one. And like when you said, well, you can't do another one. You can.
Right.
You're just saying your credibility shot.
It's not even credibility shot.
Like Kevin Hart, for example. If Kevin Hart said, hey, dude, I'm going to do 2. He went on your podcast.
Yeah.
So if he said, dude, I'll do a 2Crazy thing with you, and he trusts you guys and you guys fucked it up, he's Kevin Hart, dude. That blemish is not going to fuck his career. And when you're as big as Michael Phelps or Mike Tyson, or when you got celebrity of that stature, I'm not sure a freaking,
No, but here's another example though. I tell Mike, because it'd be great to have him on the 2Crazy platform, but it's not necessarily the best fit for him because we're looking at more esports. You're perfect.
You're esports. I keep forgetting that.
But
why don't you guys expand outside of just that?
No, of course. But here's the thing: if you tell Mike, hey, come on 2Crazy, or go to DraftKings with Brady, Gretzky, Tiger Woods. That's like that's sports. It's relevant. It's a little more closer to home. So like,
but I'm like, because I'm always curious as to what people think of me. Cameo sent me a thing, says, hey, we're getting a lot of requests. We'd like to have you on Cameo. So I'm like, what's Cameo?
Yeah.
So I go look at the Cameo platform and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And there's like, real people on there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'd do it just because shit, I'm honored to even be asked. So I get on there and then I'm looking through different people and, so-and-so's on there. And I kept saying what they're listed at. And I thought to myself for a minute, like, I wonder what they've got me. Like what am I, an entrepreneur?
What your title would be.
Because being entrepreneur is cool now. So never before was entrepreneur cool. Like there's literally Grant Cardone's an example. That dude's he literally,
he's a crusher. Yeah.
He's not a big celebrity compared to like, Brad Pitt or Michael Phelps or anybody big, but a lot of people know who he is. So he's like an entrepreneur celebrity. Gary Vee, better example.
Legend, yeah.
Entrepreneur celebrity. Like who the fuck is Gary Vee? He's an entrepreneur.
Everyone knows him, yeah.
Well, and everybody knows him because he was on YouTube at the right time, and then he parlayed that, and he's got an opinion, he's confident. Now all of a sudden everybody knows who Gary Vee is.
Well, he's got a team too.
He's into NFTs big time.
Super deep NFTs. Yeah.
Okay, so again, Gary Vee's going to make zillions at NFTs because he understands it though.
He'll buy the jets with NFTs.
He's another one that got me convinced. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, dude, but if Gary Vee's convinced,
he called Ethereum as well when it was like $4. He's just Bitcoin. Here's the thing. He surrounds himself with smart people. He knows like the best of people and he takes it in and he's very sharp. Like, all right, Mitch Garber, he's been on my podcast. You might not know the name, but he was one of the original guys, PaySafe, like NetTeller, CEO, created that. Party Gaming was there. He was CEO of Caesars. He cashed out the Playtika deal. I don't know if you know this game. Biggest Israel sale ever, 4.4 billion. He had 10%. I was just with them visiting him, but like he says, that's what he likes to do. He's got 25-year-old son. He bought a part of the Seattle Kraken. He likes to surround himself with like my age people because he listens and like what's going on. Like his sons are 23, 25. They know what's next. They know what's hot. And then he's just ahead of the game, right? He knows like where to kind of put his mind. I told him CryptoPunks in March. I got him in sports cards through my boy Kuntz, Josh Luber, co-founder of StockX. That we have a call.
Add me to your little text list.
You're in my, bro, we're going to get some beers. I might even skip the World Series. What are you doing today? See, we got to hang out a little, man. I'll clear my schedule.
If you do miss a game at the World Series, are you just out?
No, so the World Series, there's 98 events. Today it's called the Millionaire Maker, 1,500 buy-in, a gazillion people play, starts at 10 a.m. You can register for like 6-7 hours. And I take days off. I'm going to Napa next week with a couple of friends. I won't play the whole series. The main event is November 4th. 4 starting days, 10K buy-in, A, B, C, D. So you could play any of those days.
That one.
Yeah. I'm going to play the majority of stuff here, but like taking days off or missing a day. I came late. I had a wedding in Europe. I came just now. There's already been 15 events, and I'm just starting yesterday. First event I played. So,
well, good luck to you, folks. If you guys want to follow this dude, jeffgrosspoker.com, also at Jeff Gross Poker on social media. Go check out his podcast. He's got the big shots on those some bitches. Kevin Hart. Phelps will be on there, I'm sure.
Yep.
Unless he listens to this one and gets mad at you. Of course, you didn't say
no.
that.
I didn't. I get nothing there.
Hey, but if he's mad at me, at least now Phelps knows who I am.
Listen. I have actually my 150 episode coming up. I would be honored to have you on. I don't know your schedule. I'll put you on the spot. I would love to have you be a guest. That would be really cool.
Listen, I'm going to come on just because the rest of them have been. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Usually someone will call me and say, hey, get on my podcast. And then most of them don't make it, obviously, because they don't continue.
Right.
Well, then some of them continue. So normally, like if it's small or unheard of, I'll tell you what, I'll be your 100th guest.
Yeah.
And why do I say that? Well, because dude, if you fucking do 100 episodes, bro, you're taking it seriously. And I'll be on anyone's podcast that's taking it seriously.
I'm at 150, so we're good.
I know you're over. And dude, most people don't get past 15. They'll start out, we're going to do a podcast. And after 4 or 5 episodes, they're done. They don't know where to find people.
I know we're already closing and we probably got to go. So you already did the outro, but two things.
I haven't done the outro.
Okay. Well, if we can keep it going for a second. I want to ask a question.
You know how you know when it ends? Because you'll hear me end it.
Does the music come on?
That's right. And then I press another button.
Once the music's
shit
on,
don't get edited.
All right. I love it. I was going to say the thing about Twitch and content and in general podcasting to what you just said, it's that cliche about the first step. It's the hardest thing or whatever. I get asked all the time in poker. People message me, hey, how do I start Twitch? Or I want to start a Twitch. I'm going to start a Twitch. I'm going to start a podcast. I've had like 5 people that I know are hard workers and stuff. They get the equipment or something. They just don't start. It's a lot of work, man. What you built here, this studio, this room, this whatever, it's a lot, right? You didn't have this when you started. You didn't have all the equipment when you started out. Like I had a shitty setup, shitty logo.
I didn't. I just,
But I'm saying for the podcast for you, but I'm saying when you started your business,
it's not expensive. You don't need the backgrounds and the TVs and the 4D cameras just to do a podcast.
It's relative though. It's not $2,000, right? Like there's college.
Well,
like I'm
not
saying,
this particular
right
area, but dude, you could start a podcast with $2,000 for equipment
for sure. My point is, it's not going to look like this, but you could do it. You could have something. Not about taking the first step though. Most people don't go forward, or they just don't want to do the work, or they don't understand what it takes. So I really admire, when I heard about you for the first time, probably last year, and then more and more I've watched your stuff. I really like your stuff. You believe it, and you push it, and you do the work. Like it's just, I respect that. Like you're in like the category for me, like Gary Vee, these type of guys that you have a team, you have a plan, you see stuff and you shoot, and I love it. Like I would consider you like kind of role model type thing where it's like, wow, like it's inspirational, and I can just tell that you really work hard, and it's Yeah, I'm honored to be here. It's been a lot of fun, and I think we'll definitely talk about NFTs and much more to come. And yeah, 150, man, it's coming up. So you tell me when you're free, and
I'll do
we'll,
it. Sure.
And we could bang it out right now. We could record it at my place or yours. And
well, I have shit happening, but I will definitely do it. That's a fact.
I want to ask you before, since we do a podcast, we could save some of this, but just quickly, what if there was something that you ever had? I always say my dad told me about. It's not what happens, how you react. Did you ever have like a? I think I heard you have. Is it true you have 10 kids with 7? Is that there?
7 kids.
7 kids with 10. Oh wait, no.
I said 7 kids with 10 women, but that was a joke.
Okay, that's what I heard. Yeah. Okay, so 7.
Yeah,
wow, 7
I said
kids.
3 of them are fighting over whose is whose.
All right. So let me ask you, how do you have? That's an amazing amount. That is really not
really, but
it's a lot. I don't know anyone who has 7 kids. I've never met anyone.
I mean,
so
you know people that would have had 7 kids had they had them.
Right. So my question, how along the way though, how have you been able to sort of do what you do, so much content, be so productive, but also, I have 1 child and I already find it's like, wow, like, I don't want to miss stuff. I want to be around. How do you balance that?
Well, that's a good question. And here's the answer. You ready? Instead of trying to make time to make content, instead of trying to figure out what people should be seeing, I just have the camera follow me and record me being me and share that. Mm-hmm. So like, if you don't have time because you got a kid, we'll fucking film you and your kid.
Right.
That's you, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's content, isn't it? So the trick would be have the camera just film you, period. That way you don't make time to film content. You are content. See the difference?
For sure. No,
I am content. I talk to my employee, that's content. I talk to my wife, that's content. I talk to my kids, that's content. Right. I don't have to plan.
Yeah, it's like Gary Vee too, because he has a team. He's got 30 people around. He just does his thing and like it.
Dude, and believe it or not, he made a lot of sense one day while I was watching his shit, and he said, quit creating and start documenting. Okay, that's what the answer is. And I'll credit Gary Vee. Just start documenting, and then you don't have to worry about time. Why? Because you're going to go spend time with your kids. Good, get the camera on you. Right. Now, again, if like when I'm sitting there returning emails for an hour, I can tell the camera dude, hey, you don't need to film me being quiet. Mm-hmm. But soon as a customer comes, soon as a customer calls, soon as a client shows up, I got a speech to do. I got a webinar to do. Someone wants to do my closer school. I'm filming closer school. I'm doing this podcast like this right here. You repurpose
that. You have clips for Instagram for stuff that they then do. You don't have to micromanage and do this. Yeah.
Right. But I'm going to be doing this. Like, see, I don't have to create time to make content. I'm making content right fucking now.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
No, for sure. So, but I'm saying in terms of like the 7 kids or spending
Doesn't
time.
matter. If I have 7 kids, but keep in mind, dude, a lot of them are older kids. Like my oldest is 36.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't have to sit there and deal with her every day and change diapers. Yeah. And not only that, my youngest 3 kids, which the 7th one isn't born yet. She should be born in December.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
So the other 2 kids, 6 and 8, I have a wife. She's got a mother-in-law.
Yeah, okay.
We've got a nanny.
Give it to him too.
Like, what I got to do?
For sure. All right, last
go home, give them a kiss, play with them, and guess what? You don't see a lot of that on my social media. Why? Well, because my camera dude works here.
Yeah. Last question, because we'll save it for our podcast. But was there one moment or something that triggered like where you almost decided to shift paths or just say it seemed like really bad in the moment that turned out to be like a major blessing? Because I have 2 things that happened in my life where it was like I thought it was it was really terrible and it turned into the best. Do you have something like that where it was like just sort of shit where you saw it like this happen, like, or even like the Negreanu example? Obviously that's just a small thing what you were doing, but that happened like PokerStars says we can't do it. It was sort of unfortunate. Do you have like a bigger sort of event like that where it shifted?
I got a lot of them were like fuck. But it didn't turn around and become zillions or anything.
Okay.
But I've trained my perspective to be grateful.
Okay.
Over anything. So like when I wake up in the morning, I literally believe that I'm one of the luckiest people on earth. Why? Simply because I woke up. Like, for example, if I handed you $10 million cash, you'd feel pretty excited. Most people would. Most troubles wouldn't even bother you. You'd literally be enthusiastic, in a good mood. Everybody'd be fucking pumped. Well, if I said, I'll give you 10 million, but you can't wake up tomorrow. Well, of course not. You wouldn't take it. So that means waking up in the morning literally is worth more than $10 million to you. Yes or no?
Yeah, it's all perspective.
Yes or no?
Yes, of course.
So do you wake up with that same fucking feeling that someone just handed you cash or you won a big pot? You don't. People don't. Why? Well, because they're not aware that it's that valuable. So all I do is bring awareness to the fact that, man, you waking up, dude, is valuable. And then I appreciate that value, which is where the gratitude comes from. And now problems look like opportunities. Yep. Risk is nothing because, again, dude, like, it's not that risky. What's the worst that can happen? You die? Well, I'm not going to die because I asked this person out. I'm not going to die because I take this financial risk. I'm not going to die because I try to do a fucking EF or an NFT with fucking 2Crazy.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not in esports. Matter of fact, I'm not a big sports fan altogether. Like, I wish I was like one of those dudes where like, yeah, you fucking see so-and-so, he just got drafted.
You're not doing daily fantasy, right?
I don't know. Yeah. I did do fantasy football once, and I won, actually.
There you go.
But
so you are lucky, yeah.
No, I that's just lucky picking.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm lucky.
Yeah, so of course.
Oh, no, dude. You want to talk about fucking lucky? I'm the luckiest dude ever. One time I got kicked off a roulette table because I picked 5 numbers in a row.
Oh, they thought you were in the dealer. You had a system.
They told me no more.
Wow. And you did the movie 21. They did that for you for roulette. I've never heard a roulette kick out.
All I did is walked up. My wife likes roulette. You know, she only plays a little bit.
You know the odds, right? But you know how bad it is?
Bad.
Do you know the actual percent? You know that, I'll tell you. You play single or double zero wheels?
See, again, we play whatever table.
Try the double zero because they really F you in the U.S. The Europeans, at least, they give you the courtesy single. So it's like negative 2.7%. Every bet you make, you're losing. There's not blackjack even. You're just losing 2.7% on single. Double zero, which is what they have all except the private rooms, right? Like the high limit rooms. But if you walk down, 5.4%. So every $100 you bet, you're just losing $5.40, which is kind of absurd. I mean, it's one of the worst.
Every $100 I bet, we lose.
You crushed, yeah.
Like they swipe it all.
That's what I'm saying. But the EV of it is 5.4%. Yeah.
Yeah. So I walk up. We're a little bit drunk. I rented this bar for a party, for a Super Bowl party. I'm a little bit buzzed. She's pregnant, so she's not buzzed.
Right.
She's like, "Oh, babe, let's play a little roulette." So I re-roll up. It's fine. I said black 11. She bets everything but black 11.
No.
And it hits black 11.
No. And then why would she do that? That's not nice.
Because she wasn't listening. She's one of those spreaders. She wants it everywhere.
She's pregnant too. Chip everywhere. She's pregnant. Yeah. She's a sprayer.
Yeah. So anyway, it hits, and I said, "Babe, I told you." So, and I wasn't mad, but I said, "I told you." And then 17, boom. She puts a few on 17 and does her normal, spread it everywhere. Right. But there's, a little stack on 17.
35-1, bang.
17.
Yeah.
So now she's like, oh, and then I'm like, I forget the numbers now, but I'm like, 21. And then she stuck a little bit bigger stack on 21.
Yep.
21.
Lightning.
Now everybody at the table that didn't know us was listening. And now everybody is waiting to see what I'll say next.
Yeah.
I say something like fucking 13. Boom. 13.
No way. And back to back, no way.
Bang, bang, bang. And not only that, I was being verbal about it.
Wow.
Everyone was hearing me say.
I've never heard 5 in a row.
Before the person did this, what the number was going to be.
And then they get on the phone. They changed the dealer, right? They probably moved it.
Nope. So far, they didn't do shit. Now, the 4th one, a pit boss came over and was watching. And then the 5th one, because everybody was like, which one? And I said something like 19. And now everybody, not just my wife, was putting the money on 19. But again, I mean, like my wife, she didn't just put money on 19. She went, brrrt, brap, 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 brap. So she still spread.
Yeah, it's hard to win.
But anyway, she did put, bigger and bigger stacks on the numbers. But now everybody was starting to. So the 5th one that hit, everybody put fucking money on that thing.
Nice.
And then everyone was like, holy shit, dude, what next? And the pit boss said, sir, step away from the table. You're no longer, I forget, he said it all polite. You're not welcome to play. And I said, what are you talking about? They chipped me up and said, go away.
I've never heard that.
Kicked me and my wife
which casino
off
is
the
that?
Table.
Where's that?
That one was at the Aria.
Wow.
And then, dude, I've done it before where like some of my family's in town and we're walking by a roulette table and I say, pick a number between 1 and 35 or something. And they'll say a number and I'll go, nope, it's this one. And I'll put $20 on it and win and give them the money. They're like, holy shit, that's happened a handful of times. It's almost like I'm fucking psychic.
Rain Man stuff going on.
But dude, it's just lucky. I'm just lucky.
Wow. I've never heard of, that's pretty crazy. I've never heard anyone being asked to leave a roulette wheel. That's strong. That's
dude, 5 in a row, they'll tell you to leave.
I've never heard of it. Yeah,
that's why.
I'm sure they did.
Now you have.
Sure. And last thing I wanted to say, I think for a guest, if I could make a recommendation in the future, a guy I think you'd really hit it off with, he had a book called Die with Zero, Bill Perkins. Do you know that name by any chance? Should have him on if make a
I don't want to read that book.
It's an amazing book.
Yeah, but who wants to die with zero?
You'd be surprised. It's actually it's a philosophy about it, saying basically, like, for example, you have 7 kids.
Use it all.
Well, just like, for example, giving your kids money when they're 65 and you're 90, that doesn't really do anything, right? Because they right now when they're 30, you're 36-year-old, maybe, I don't know, they're married.
Yeah, but you give them money their whole life.
I understand. But just like one of the examples of, like, people will give a lump sum of like millions or their whole thing when it does, like I'm saying, it doesn't really do anything. It's just like a philosophy on how I
agree with them.
How you're living. And also about, you can't hella ski when you're 70. Originally Jersey City, lives in Houston and Austin. And he's a natural gas trader. One of my best friends, amazing guy, great book. And
Die with Zero.
You would really hit it off.
Where do you follow him?
Bill Perkins on Twitter, Instagram. He's always with Bilzerian traveling around. Like they're like when they go on the trips, like they're together always. But he's a very fun guy, very interesting philosophy. And I just thought of you. I thought you guys would just as long as we can still have beers, just don't leave me for him to hang out. But like, you'll like him.
Hey, Bomb Squad, go hunt that dude down, Bill Perkins, and then hit us up. Tag Jeff Gross Poker if you want me to have Bill Perkins come teach you how to fucking die with zero.
How to live, really. That's what it's about.
Well, the use it all theory I believe in. Like, in other words, die with zero. Now that I think about that,
it's a great title.
I agree.
Yeah,
but die with zero because you can't take it with you. But at the end of the day, die with zero by giving it all out. Now, I agree with his concept to, like, don't wait, because you're right, dude. I'd be pissed. My dad dies. I'm 71, but I've been broke my whole life. Now he dies, and all of a sudden I get $10 million. Like, I'd be appreciative, but like, Dad, I would have appreciated.
I would have put some Bitcoin and bought some crypto punks, and we really done something with it. And it's also it's about memory dividends and explaining, like, look, when I was 15, I had my friends, I had my time. When I'm 23 and I'm living with Mike and we're traveling, doing stuff, and now I'm 35 and I'm married and I have kids. It's different pockets of time and things you can do. So it's just sort of a different way of it stresses about the present and what you're doing and how to maximize that time. I do think a lot of people are caught in the rat race, the trap, and you just kind of go through the motions and time flies by and you don't, like, if you could look back at your life when you're dying and you're like on your deathbed and you were to say, like, oh, here's my life, here's how I lived, pretty much every single person would do things completely differently, right? If you could go see the end of your life, the time, you would be able to accordingly map out and do the right things better, right? And that's sort of like, it's just a way to sort of jolt your mind and think about it in a different perspective.
Dude, you look like that actor. People,
I know, don't say it. I got this yesterday.
Who is it?
I always forget his name.
What's his name? Sam
Rockwell.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, he won Best Supporting Actor. I got that at the table yesterday. I actually, on my Twitch,
you're a little Sam Rockwell.
I did a giveaway where I said, send a picture side by side, me and Sam, because I don't see it very much, but I get it all the time.
Is this your is this part of a prop bet you're doing right now? Because, like, if you'd have bet someone, hey, I'll bet you I'll stay on longer than anyone else in the history of dropping bombs, I think you're fucking about to win the bet.
What I say before we got on, I won't quit you. So you hit the music and we'll stop. Otherwise,
you might win that prop bet, but only if I get a piece.
You're in. You can buy pieces of me.
We can talk another hour, make you the longest episode in the world.
I can be late today. I actually have a couple of the sickest prop bets I've been a part of, but I got actually with Bill Perkins. It was a tattoo bet. We were in Amsterdam, and this was like 2013, and he basically asked me how much would I have to be paid to get a tattoo, and we went back and forth, and finally I said a number, and moral story, I got one the next day, but it was pretty crazy. Like, it's how
much was the money?
It was a lot for me. I was 26, so it was I don't want to say the exact number, but it was
why?
Just cause whatever.
Might end up on a book.
Something like that. It was over. It was more, what do you think? What would you, I mean, it's so hard. This is the thing though. When people talk about numbers and thing, it's all relative, right? What you would do with your 26-year-old self versus now, right? You're 52, double, like it's a way different price.
Well, it depends on what the tattoo was. You give me a stupid tattoo, I'd want a lot of money, and I probably wouldn't do it no matter what, but you give me a tattoo I would have got anyway, shit, $5,000 would make me do it.
You could add some zeros to that. It was
why? Were you just against tattoos?
Well, it was just we were walking around and it was just sort of like a thing we were just saying about how, like, that's the thing. Bill, he comes from a background in trading. Like he grew up, doing on the floor, and they were doing crazy prop bets, like weird, wild stuff. And he loves doing prop bets. And it just was one of those things. He was just like asking me, and I was like, I don't really want one. And then it just sort of came a conversation. Then he just said a number and out loud, and I was like, fuck, booked. Like he just basically said, all right, and went. So yeah, the poker world has a lot of prop bets, bike rides from here to LA, in a certain amount of time. I don't know if you saw the Bilzerian one or Brian Rast. He won like 1.6 million to bike ride from here to the top of Dan's steps, and amazing. He's actually a fascinating guy too.
Dude, I'm gonna have you back since you're local here.
Part of the year local,
keep chatting because I got another bunch of questions for Dan Bilzerian. What's going on with there? But let's save it for next part because I got people wrapping me up, and unfortunately, shit, dude, we gotta go. And I know you do. We got our 150. You're gonna be my 150th guest. We'll do it whenever you're available. Hopefully sooner than later. And I'd love to do it. Fair enough, folks. Go follow Jeff at Jeff Gross Poker on social media. Go check out 2crazylive.com. Go find that dude Bill Perkins. Tag us all if you want me to get him on the podcast. Go get his book, and then share this out. Anyone that you might think can be helped by it. And until next time, keep it real.
Dropping bombs with the real Bradley. Subscribe now.